And happy Friday, everyone. Thanks for joining us as we end this work week and take a look at the weekly key goals the mayor set for the county and for staff and strategies for reopening the county in a responsible manner. Mayor Demings and Mayor Dyer will talk about that process. We have information on new testing sites by Dr. Yolanda Martinez, the Health Services Director for Orange County, and we will also have information to be delivered regarding information at the state as well. We also have with us Orange County Sheriff John Mina, who will give us some information also regarding enforcement in the county, and we will talk a bit about curfews as well. We start with our mayor, Orange County Mayor Jerry Demings. Mayor?
All right, thank you, Dr. Williamson, and thank you to all of you for being here. It's a Good Friday for us. Last Friday, we came in and we tried to share a bit of good news for last week, consistent with what all had occurred. And this week, I'm going to try to do the same thing, and I'm going to start by sharing some good news this Friday, because as we live within the midst of a pandemic, sometimes it's just right with a lot of bad news and sadness. But I'm happy to say to you that if you recall, last Friday I came in and I announced to you that we sent a letter to Governor DeSantis requesting that he consider allowing barbershops, hair salons, and nail salons to open. And he responded very quickly to us, and we had a roundtable discussion last Saturday at one of the local salons here. And the Orange County Economic Recovery Task Force highly recommended that we include the said businesses within phase one of the opening. So not long ago, I received a phone call from the governor's office saying to me that he was going to allow the barbershops, hair salons, and nail salons to open effective this coming Monday. And so that's good news for all of those who work within that particular personal service industry. It's good news for all of us who may need a haircut or otherwise here during this period of time. And so while this is something that we're announcing on the Friday before Mother's Day, we were very hopeful that we were going to try to get these businesses open before Mother's Day so that we could pamper our mothers and women in our lives, but we missed it, and we missed it by just a hair. But for those in our community, we still have the opportunity now to make an appointment for Monday or thereafter for those special people in our lives. And so that's the good news. Part of the good news that I'm going to share with you, I do thank our Economic Recovery Task Force for their wisdom in working with me. I really appreciate the efforts of those who participated last Saturday in the roundtable discussion. And one of the local barbershops really stood out to help us, and that is Mr. John Henry of J. Henry's Barbershop here in the downtown Orlando area. He was there with us the entire way, and we have to say thank you to the Oh So Jazzy hair salon that created the opportunity for us to be in that facility a week ago. So thank you to Governor DeSantis for listening to our concerns and our needs, and it is something that will benefit not just those of us here in the metro Orlando area, but throughout the entire state of Florida. On Monday, I outlined 3 goals for this week. They were to support the reopening of businesses with personal protective equipment, and then come up with a plan to distribute such equipment. Number 2 was to increase testing and convenience of testing. And number 3 was to get final recommendations from the Economic Recovery Task Force to support the state's phase 1 reopening standards and help businesses and the public prepare for phase 2. I believe that we accomplished all 3 goals this week. As we continue with phase 1 reopening, we have launched our personal protective equipment, the PPE, Small Biz in Orange County initiative. It will be facilitated and coordinated under our Economic Recovery Task Force, and information is being put up on our website regarding the distribution as we speak. During this COVID-19 initiative, personal protective equipment will be given to small businesses in Orange County in order to help them reopen and sustain themselves. In particular, some of these hair salons, et cetera, will be the recipient of some of the equipment that we will distribute next week. Distribution will begin on Monday, May the 11th, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and will remain open during the same operating hours until Friday, May the 15th, or until the supplies run out. We anticipate distributing 1 million face masks and 200,000 travel-size hand bottles which will be put into different kits that we'll be giving out from 6 drive-through pickup sites conveniently located throughout the county, one in each of our county commission districts. Each of the PPE kits will contain anywhere from 50 to 100 masks and 10 to 20 travel-size sanitary bottles or sanitizer bottles. Although 1 million masks and 200,000 of these hand sanitizer bottles sounds like a large shipment, there are 90,000 small businesses throughout Orange County, but we intend to accommodate up to 20,000 of them. That was the supply that we were able to get our hands on. We need to prioritize and distribute these kits to the small businesses that have been unable to reopen or have not been able to obtain such supplies for their employees due to unavailability or financial hardship. Orange County small businesses and owners must register, however, by completing an interest form, and they can do so by going to ocfl.net/PPE, ocfl.net/PPE, and they can submit their information online and their preferred pickup location. That will allow us to manage the process more effectively and have enough supplies at the various sites next week. Please don't register your business unless you truly need the supplies that we're providing, because I know that we have thousands of businesses in need and we want to accommodate those who need it the most. In order to be eligible, small businesses can be either for-profit or non-profit, and they must be incorporated with the majority of the operations in Orange County. In other words, what we're saying is this is for businesses within Orange County. If you are from another county, you're going to be disqualified from being able to get supplies from this particular cache. They must also employ more than 3 but less than 40 individuals in order to register, regardless of whether their businesses are full-time or part-time. The pickup sites for the 6 different locations are the Orlando Technical College West Side Division in Winter Garden, Apopka High School, the 3 Point Elementary or Goldenrod Road location in East Orange County, Downey Park, Corner Lakes Middle School, and Mid-Florida Tech. We will, again, put up all of that information. We'll be pushing out to the public. Let me say thank you in advance to the Orange County Public Schools for providing the school locations, and I also want to thank our Business Readiness Task Force members or working group members for their efforts in helping to really be the brain trust to make this happen. Again, for more information, please visit our website at ocfl.net/PPE. Now let me kind of move on, shift gears, and give you an update on where we are within Orange County in terms of the COVID-19 virus. Orange County has 1,478 cases, which is an increase from yesterday. Just 24 hours ago, the number was 1,474. So in 24 hours, we had 4 additional cases. I believe that that is the first time where we did not have double-digit increases in quite some time. We had 4 cases. So the positive rate of new cases here within Orange County is relatively low, under 1% of all of the testing that's being done. So again, it speaks to the fact that we have flattened the curve here in Orange County, and that's good news as we reopen additional businesses as well. Dr. Pino is going to be here later, I believe, so hopefully he will join us momentarily. He's juggling multiple things today. But we have now tested over 34,000 individuals in Orange County, and we're expanding our health services testing sites into the 32823 and the 32792 zip codes. On Monday and Tuesday, testing will continue at the Legacy Middle School, and beginning Monday through Thursday, testing will be available at the Lakemont Elementary School. The tests are free, but we are requiring appointments. To find more details and learn about other testing site locations, again, you can go to our website, ocfl.net/coronavirus. And finally, after consulting with the sheriff and our police chiefs here within Orange County, the curfew, which has been in effect since March the 20th, will be lifted on Monday, May the 11th at 5:01 a.m. Earlier today, I had a conference call with the surrounding counties, and again, we endeavor to be consistent in how we approach our joint responses to the pandemic. I can't thank the residents of Orange County enough for abiding by the curfew. Very few arrests were made since we instituted that over a month ago, and this really helped to give a sense of security to our community while dealing with the pandemic. So again, thank you to the residents of Orange County for adhering to the directives that we put in place. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Mayor Buddy Dyer of the City of Orlando.
Thank you, Mayor Demings, and good afternoon to everybody. As we end the first week of our very careful, phased approach to reopening, I, like Mayor Demings, can be more proud of our community. Together, all of us have played a key role in getting our community to where we are today. So as we look ahead, we must continue to play that important role. We must continue to do our part, each and every one of us, to reduce the spread of the coronavirus and continue to reopen safely. Key to keeping those numbers down is to continue to expand testing to as many people as possible so that we can monitor the infection rate and make appropriate decisions. The city, in partnership with the county and Genet Works and Advent Health, will be opening free mobile drive-through and pedestrian accessible testing sites starting next week. These new testing sites will be located to ensure broad coverage of the city and based on data to target locations where a higher number of positive cases has been reported. We will operate 2 days per week on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., rotating to a new location in the city on each of those days. The first site will open on Thursday, May 14th at Englewood Neighborhood Center, and the second will be on Tuesday, May 19th at the Northwest Community Center. You need to be 18 or older and have an Orlando ID. Appointments will be required, and we'll be releasing more details about signing up on Monday. Along that same measure, we're again partnering with the Orange County Department of Health to offer testing at our Camping World Stadium on Wednesday, May 13th, 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock by appointment. As we continue on our path to recovery, Lynx, our region's bus public transportation agency, will be returning to their regular schedules on Monday, this coming Monday, putting more buses on routes that will help Lynx keep riders in safe physical distance on those buses. All the Lynx services will remain fare-free until the end of this month, and we encourage riders to wear face covering on the buses. As we look ahead to the weekend with Mother's Day on Sunday, we must remember that we still hold the power to slow the spread of this virus. We still hold the power to protect our loved ones, ourselves, and every person. So as we make our Mother's Day plans, let's keep the health of our mothers and the well-being of all of us top of mind. I will be seeing my mother on Sunday, and we've already talked about our plans on how we'll spend the day. For us, that means still physically distancing, so no hugs. Maybe that your celebrations might end up being virtual because we're still in that mode of not having gatherings of more than 10 people. So I know it's difficult for me, it's difficult for a lot of families. But my mom's always been there for me, and changing the way I honor her on this special day is a way that I can be there for her. Now, it's critical that we are there for our moms by doing all that we can to protect them and protect our families, and that might be the biggest gift that we can give them this Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Sheriff?
All right. Thank you, Mayor Dyer. So I'm happy to report that since restaurants began dining service with limited capacity on Monday, the Orange County Sheriff's Office has not been asked to respond to any restaurant that was out of compliance with the state and local executive orders. I know many people might think otherwise, that maybe we've been overrun with calls about businesses out of compliance and by both orders, but that's just not true. So since the initial orders came out, both the state orders and the mayor's order here, we've only responded to about just over 20 different business complaints and violations, and most of those are cured by just the deputy providing some education about the order. So very, very proud of the way Orange County has responded to the orders. Everyone seems to be in compliance, so we're happy about that. And as we've said consistently, the Orange County Sheriff's Office and the local municipal police departments aren't proactively going into restaurants or businesses and religious institutions to see if there's compliance of the orders. We will, take complaints and respond to them as needed. But honestly, people and businesses are really maintaining and keeping compliance with the orders. So we're very thankful of that. So just this past week, we responded to 2 different businesses. One was a tanning salon, and one was a gym. And when our deputies responded there, the business owners needed a little bit of education on the current orders and agreed to shut down until notified otherwise. And so that's usually all it takes. And so we understand how important it is for our businesses and for the Central Florida economy to get back up and running, and we're not here to hinder that in any way. So that brings me to the curfew. As the curfew in Orange County is lifted on Monday, we just want to ask all our residents to continue to be vigilant about looking out for the health of themselves and their families, and not unnecessarily go out and possibly spread the virus. I think we've been doing, as was said by both Mayor Demings and Mayor Dyer, we've been doing so good in this community, and seeing the numbers decrease and continue to decrease. Let's not go back to those rising numbers. So with that, I will turn it over to Dr. Pino.
Thank you, Sheriff. You didn't forget my name. So, good afternoon. We have 1,478 cases. Our percentage of positivity rate today, or the latest, is 4.3 cumulative. And last time that we talked to you was 4.5. And also, I want to make notice that in the last 6 days, almost last week, we have been in single digits for the number of positive cases. On May 2nd, we did 1,129 tests. We only received 10 positive cases. That was the last time that we have double digits. On May 3rd, we did 735 cases, so we received 735 results, 1.1%, only 8 cases. And then on May 4th, we did 1,394 cases. We received 5 cases positive. And we have 2 days there, the 5th and the 6th, where the numbers went back to double digits with 1,293 cases in May 5th. We 1.3% positivity rate. And on the 6th, we did 444 cases, 1.1%, 16 cases. I need new glasses. And on yesterday, we received 532 results for 1.1%, 6 new cases. So I'm giving you these numbers because what I want you to see is also that it doesn't matter how many tests we do, we continue to get around the same range of positivity rate. And that's a good thing epidemiologically speaking, because that means even when we look for it, we are not finding it. Even when we do more tests, so if we have more positive people than we think, and we probably do have more than the real numbers, but not as much as initially thought, because the more we look, we are not finding it. And that's an interesting perspective. And it's not, we are trying not to give a sense of false security, a sense people should continue to observe all the measures that are in place, and it's critical important to continue to serve and save and use, because that's what is going to help us to keep this number where they are today or even further down. Our epi curve continue to trend down, and all our indicators continue to go down, or at least where they were in prior days. The number of hospitalizations have decreased significantly, as well as the number of people showing to the ERs with fever, shortness of breath, or cough. Flu-like illnesses is also down, as well as COVID-like illnesses, hospitalizations. We also are going to engage in testing next week, and the numbers are looking a little bit better than they were these numbers this morning for reservations. So for Monday, we are going to be at Independence Elementary School. We have 156 reservations. We have room for 500. So please call 407-723-5004 if you wish to be tested. We have plenty of room. For Tuesday, May 12th, we have 128 people have reserved. We still have room. The 13th, we only have 89 people who have reserved for Camping World. That's Wednesday. For Thursday, we will be in Evans High School. We only have 43 reservations. And for Friday, May 15, we'll be at Prairie Lake Elementary School. We only have 23. And that's fine because those are the latest day of the week. People still have time to make some reservations. But again, if you want to get tested, there is no insurance requirement. You only have to be 18 years or older. We will not demand ID, and your results will be given to you by an app in your phone that you can check yourself. So with that, I think that we also have to report that it was a reduce in the number of deaths. It went from 36 to 35, and that was due that after, constant review is done, and it was determined that the person was a resident of Osceola. So the case was transferred to the Osceola County, and that will continue to happen. Of course, in large numbers, thousands, you will not probably see a difference of 1, but when we have such a short number, the difference is substantial. With that, I will answer any question that you may have. I pass it to Mayor Demings.
Okay, just in terms of process this afternoon, we are going to do a session in Creole for the first time today, and before we do that, we will answer some questions, and also we will do a session in Spanish. So with that, if you have questions now that we can answer, let's try to answer as many of those questions as we can before we segue into doing a session in Creole and Spanish.
Mayor Lauren Seabrook, Channel 9. I'm not sure if you want to answer this or maybe if Sheriff Mina wants to answer. In regards to the curfew ending on Monday, looking forward to next Thursday, Friday, Saturday, in regards to the crowds that, I know the bars aren't open, but so many of these restaurants have bar atmospheres at a certain point in the night. And we've heard complaints from people already that they have kind of created some bar atmospheres. Sure. Are you going to be looking out for that? And what can you do in that situation?
Yes. Like I said, we're not going to be going proactively looking for those violations. Certainly we have a community to keep safe, and like I've said earlier, criminals are still out there committing acts of violence and of crime in our community. So that's going to be our top priority. But if people think that those establishments are violating the order, they can certainly call their local law enforcement agency, whether it be the Orange County Sheriff's Office or any other municipalities, and we will go investigate and look into those violations.
Eric Sandoval with News 6. I guess a question for Mayor Demings. We're getting a lot of calls into our newsroom now, especially now that hair salons have been given the green light to open. Have you been getting a lot of pressure from people for gyms to reopen as well, and what's your feeling on that?
I have not been getting a lot of pressure, but we occasionally get correspondence, either email or phone calls from other business sectors that are not currently open in phase one who would like to open up. Obviously, our priority is on keeping our community safe and also limiting the social gatherings to 10 or fewer individuals. And so some types of businesses just simply don't lend themselves well to that. However, there's, pursuant to the governor's order, we are looking to phase two at some point. That could be another few weeks away. And so until then, we just ask those businesses that are not open now to be patient with the process that we are putting in place.
Mayor Demings, David Porter, 32805. You've got a nice cache of supplies, PPE, to help small businesses that need that to help start their businesses. At the same time, though, I've heard from the town of Eatonville and from a number of communities that are in need of, including even like the disabled community, who are in need of these kind of sanitizing supplies and masks and stuff like that, and don't quite know exactly where to go. What can they be helped out of this cash, or do you have some other way to help them? I mean, I'm just curious.
We have been assisting individuals with hand sanitizers and masks prior to receiving this supply. And so if through the Homeless Service Network and some of our other local nonprofit partners, we have, prior to receiving these supplies, distributed hand sanitizer into the community itself. And that has been an ongoing process. We have worked with organizations even like Links and some others with the supplies, and we'll continue to do that. So if they have any needs for, if individuals have a need, we have our 311 special assistance line that you can call, and we can provide information on the closest location where you may be able to do that. In fact, some of our testing sites over time, we have given out hand sanitizer at some of the testing sites as well when we had supplies.
This is a question for Mayor Dyer, actually. And so with the curfew being lifted, we, News 13, we work downtown, and we see, before the pandemic, how packed the streets are. Are Orlando police officers going to be out there in force, making sure people, adhere to those guidelines, even though the curfew is lifted?
We have a downtown detail that'll be out there during the evening hours. And as the sheriff said, we're not going to be proactive. We're going to be reactive to complaint-driven situations. Gatherings of more than 10 aren't permitted, so, but it's still going to be more informational or educational. I think, the need for enforcement.
Una pregunta en español, Edgar Carrillo de Telemundo. En el video donde se mostró el anuncio del gobernador DeSantis para la reapertura de las barberías, se nombraron 3 medidas: mascarillas, guantes y realizar citas para ir a las peluquerías. ¿Hay alguna otra medida adicional que debería saber el público y los que están trabajando en estas barberías?
The question was, in the video recently released where the governor was announcing that the barbershops will be reopening, 3 measures were numbered: gloves, hand sanitizer, you said, mask, and appointments. Mira, las barberías pueden tomar medidas adicionales si ellos los desean. Lo que nosotros ofrecemos y lo que el gobernador ha ofrecido son sugerencias y guía y en algunos casos decisiones de qué se debe hacer. Pero no precluye a nadie de tomar medidas extraordinarias. Las citas, porque no queremos que las personas se congreguen en un espacio respirando y esperando 30 minutos. Lo que deseamos en estos lugares de servicio es que las personas entren, reciban el servicio y salgan. Y que en el momento de entrar las manos se limpien con sanitizer o se laven, y los barberos van a hacer eso, y en el momento de salir que también pase, de que no entren ni tomen nada con ellos. The answer to that question was that what we offer are guidance, suggestions, and sometimes what needs to be done, because it's mandated in some cases. And businesses can go beyond what has been recommended if they choose to do so. But having gloves and having appointments and the mask on guarantee at least a minimum of requirement to protect the individuals. We really want these businesses that have this type of services not to have people waiting in a waiting room, sit down face to face, breathing against each other for a long period of time. We want people to come in, receive those services and be protected, and leave and receive after they get those services rather quick. We prefer that people sanitize before they come in and before they leave. Thank you.
This next question is for you, Dr. Pino, too, from Alexa Lorenzo and WFTV. What is contact tracing? How many people do you have dedicated to contact tracing on your team right now?
So I was late to hear because I was on a call with the Surgeon General about contact tracing. Actually, our county is doing extremely well in contact tracing. We only have, out of 1,478 individuals that we have today, we only have 3 individuals that need to be contacted. Everyone else has been contacted except 100 people that we have tried and they have not responded our contact. Besides that, everyone else has been contacted. So we are doing pretty well. How many people? Our epi department has 12 epidemiologists. They are normally dedicated in normal circumstances to enteric diseases and syphilis, HIV, and rubiola, sarampion, and all the infectious diseases. We stopped all that and concentrated everyone, and we also added in the peak of the pandemic in the county about 15 other individuals. Now we are going to start releasing those individuals because our numbers are going down significantly, but we are going to concentrate on trace investigation for the outbreaks. So we are preparing for that.
These next couple are for Mayor Demings, and then I'll be finished here. This one's from Ryan Lynch with the Orlando Business Journal. Will there have to be additional guidance brought forth by either the state or county related to guidance on salons, and what potentially will that look like?
Yes, there are some guidelines that have been developed consistent with the CDC guidelines and those of the Department of Health, and we'll assist in publishing those guidelines as well.
This next one is from Danielle Lama. She wants to ask you about your thoughts with hair salons and et cetera reopening on Monday. Do you think that your letter to the governor helped make this decision or at least expedited it?
I think that my letter, along with the letters of the chairs of surrounding counties here in Central Florida, influence the governor, but I think the greatest influence came during the interaction at the Oh So Jazzy hair salon and barber shop last Saturday, where business owners were able to have a direct conversation with the governor about what they would put in place to protect themselves, the public, and others who come into their business from the spread of the virus. I believe that their conversation was persuasive, and the governor listened.
This last one comes from Melissa Thomas with Florida National News, and I think Mayor Dyer, you can chime into this as well as Mayor Demings. Her question is, as the county begins to reopen, are there any new measures or procedures regarding the county's homeless population?
The Homeless Services Network is part of the team of individuals, the executive policy group, that we participate in a daily conference call to talk about how we collectively will respond to individuals in need. And so there are some plans to do some testing within the various shelters for our homeless personnel, and we work very closely with the Department of Health and Orange County Health Services to ensure that no one gets left behind in this process. Okay, Mayor. Okay, other questions? All right, if there are no other questions for this segment, what we'll do now is I'm going to ask Ms. Ilia Torres to come forward, and then I'm going to kind of review the information that I shared previously in Spanish.